Hey, welcome to Vance Tried It. Today we're going to be making some stuffed pickle poppers. So we're going to start off with some dill pickles. This is Mount Olive kosher dills. And we're going to just open this bad boy up. I think what we're going to do is we're going to make 8 of these, which is 4 pickles cut in half. And so let's just get some pickles out of here. You just cut these lengthwise. You do want to use a nice big pickle. And one more. Just like this. And we'll just set those back out the way. Alright, so now what we're going to do is we're going to take the seeds out of these pickles. So you're just going to take your spoon, going to run it, work it back and forth, kind of right down the middle of the pickle. Just kind of making a little valley right here in our pickle. And that's where the stuffing is going to go. Of course, that's why you want a pretty big pickle for this, because you want to have plenty of room to get the cream cheese. That's what we're going to be stuffing it with. You want to have plenty of room to get that cream cheese down in the pickle. And then that'd be perfect. Because remember, the point isn't like the actually getting the seeds out. The seeds aren't going to hurt us. I mean, they're just part of the pickle. Really, that's just the part where we need to put our cream cheese. So we're just trying to make some space. And this would be really good if you have a grapefruit spoon that kind of has like a serrated edge on it and is typically used to make or to scoop out a grapefruit when you're eating just a plain grapefruit. That would work really well here. But as you can see, just a regular spoon works pretty well. You just have to kind of work it back and forth here. Get out what you need to get out. Just like that. Now we have all 8 of them all hollowed out. I'm going to keep this part here. I'm going to use this probably to make some chicken salad. And so if you'd like to see me make some chicken salad here on the channel, just let me know down in the comments. And hey, while you're down there, would you please go ahead and like this video and go ahead and click that bell. That way you get notified every time I drop a new video. So we're going to just set these back. And now we just go to our next step. I have some cream cheese here, and I've cut them up into blocks of about 1 ounce. And so we're just going to just put them down in here. And we want to kind of just get them the lengthwise and smush them down a little bit. But there's going to be more cream cheese than we have whole. And we want that because if we only put enough creamy cheese in here, that's the size of the hole, well, we're just not going to get much of that cream cheese flavor in our poppers. So we want to go ahead and just use the full ounce on all of these. And if your not a huge cream cheese person, look, you can always go with less. Go with half an ounce. If you just love cream cheese, you go a little bit more, maybe an ounce and a half. You don't want to go too much more, or it's just going to be all cream cheese. But you can kind of alter it as far as the amount of cream cheese that you're putting in here based on what do you like. And so we're just going to finish this last one up. And just like that, we have our cream cheese stuffed in our pickles. And now what I have taken here is 8 strips of bacon. Now this is thin bacon. You really want to use a thinner cut bacon for this. If you use too thick of a cut of bacon, then you're really going to get just a lot of uncrisp bacon. And we don't want that. We want our bacon to be nice and crisp. So we're going to wrap up our pickle here. And then you're going to overlap your bacon just a little bit. And then what I like to do is right when I get to the end, I just tuck a little piece of that in there just like that. I'm going to put this right back over here on this plate. I'm going to go ahead and keep wrapping up these pickles. And I'll get back to you when we're done with this and we're ready to put the finishing touch on our poppers. Okay, so I have my stuffed pickle poppers all wrapped up, and now the finishing touch on these before we put them in the oven is this is Cosmo's Honey Killer Bee Dry Rub, and this is one of my favorite recipes for this. And what we're going to do is we're just going to coat pretty liberally right on here. And here's the thing, when you're seasoning anything like this, you have to not be afraid to leave some on the plate. Because if you start getting afraid of that, what you end up doing is not putting enough on there. And so we definitely don't want that. So we're going to coat that side and then just turn these over. One of the things you can do when you're turning these over, you can kind of see where you had some that kind of went down in between your poppers. You can just kind of rub that on there and kind of try to pick up some of that right there as you turn these over. And now we're just going to give nice liberal coating right here. Like I said, we're not going to be afraid to make a little bit of a mess with this, just like that. And now, like I said, you can just rub some of that on there, just like that. And you want to put these back on our pan here, not back on our pan because they haven't been on the pan yet. Just make sure you put them on here with the cream cheese side up so that when that cream cheese starts to melt, it doesn't just pour all down into our pan here. Now, I didn't this time just because I wasn't thinking, but as I look at it, I tell you what I normally do is I go ahead and I wrap my pan in aluminum foil. It just makes the cleanup a little bit easier. But I just was so anxious to get these made, I just forgot to wrap it in foil. I might do that before I put these in the oven, but that is not necessary. It's just a little step that makes cleanup just that much easier. Make a little space here. So as you can see, I was able to kind of use these and kind of rub and get up and a lot of the seasoning that was kind of left on the plate here. So I really got most of it on our pickle poppers. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to put these in a 350-degree oven. And that's going to be for probably about 45 minutes. That time's going to vary depending on really the thickness of the bacon. So we're just going to cook it until that bacon is nice and crisp. Like I said, probably take about 45 minutes, but I'll let you know on what my exact time was when we get them out of the oven. So I'll see you here in a little bit. Okay, so our stuffed pickle poppers have been in the oven for right at 45 minutes, and we've let them cool off just a little bit. Now it's time to give them a taste. So let's see what they're like. The bacon is just the right amount of crispiness, and it just the smell in this kitchen right now is just out of this world. But let's see what they taste like. Mm. You have that little bit of tang from the dill, and then using that sweet rub on the outside of the bacon just gives such a great contrast. And that cream cheese just makes everything so smooth, and on the texture of the tongue, the crispy, the smooth, it all just works together really well. Now, look, I'm a huge fan of jalapeno poppers. And if I had to take my pick between these and jalapeno poppers, I'm probably taking jalapeno poppers. But if you're a big fan of dill, or maybe you're having a party and you're making some jalapeno poppers and you know that some people just don't like spicy food, this is a good option to have on hand also. That way, the people who are not jalapeno fans can still have that experience, be a part of the group, but not have to worry about are they going to have a food that's too hot for them to eat. Hey, bottom line, I tried it. You should too.